There are very few industries in the world today that are more lucrative than weight loss. With an estimated $72 billion to be made this year alone, it's easy to see why everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. The only problem is there are a lot of myths out there that get perpetuated by all these different inputs. And in this video, I'm going to break down 9 of the most popular myths that surround weight loss. Stick around. If this is your first time joining me, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to tick the bell so you get notified when I post new content. Now, let's get into today's video. First up on the list of myths that I want to talk about today is one that's probably been around the longest, and that is that you shouldn't eat at night before you go to bed. This is by far one of the easiest myths to prove false. In order to lose weight, you need to be eating less calories per day than you need to maintain your current weight. This is what's referred to as a caloric deficit. When you eat is not important. You can eat your entire day's worth of calories in one meal and still lose weight. And in fact, there are plenty of people that do just that. Now, there are certain instances where you want to time your meals. For example, before or after a workout if you're training hard. But there is no reason that you can't eat right before bed. In fact, one study released by the Dunn Clinical Nutrition Center in Cambridge, England, concluded that the basal metabolic rate of a person sleeping was the same as a person who was awake but resting. Now keep in mind, don't eat donuts in bed like you see in the video, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with having something to eat before you go to bed. Next up is a myth that can actually be dangerous if you take it too seriously. This one states that you have to skip meals in order to lose weight. Here's the problem with that. If you're not getting enough protein, you are going to lose weight, but you're probably going to be losing muscle mass, and that is not something that you want to do. There are several other problems with skipping meals to lose weight. For starters, when you finally do sit down to eat, you wind up overeating, which can lead to weight gain, not loss. Another problem with this practice is that your blood sugar levels are not as steady. Dips in your glucose levels can leave you feeling confused, tired, or even irritated. The body reacts to these conditions by increasing the production of cortisol, one of the hormones that's responsible for regulating your metabolism. Too much cortisol can result in things such as rapid weight gain, muscle weakness, high blood pressure, and even osteoporosis. So it's easy to see why you want to focus on making sure that you get the proper amount of nutrients rather than just skipping meals. The next myth up on the list is all calories are created equal. Come on, we know they're not. There are 2 main types of foods when it comes to calories. They are calorically dense foods and nutrient dense foods. To understand this, you need to keep in mind that each macronutrient has a caloric total and a metabolic impact on our bodies. For example, each gram of protein has 4 calories. Each gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories, but each gram of fat contains 9 calories. However, protein and fat do not cause insulin spikes as much as carbohydrates do. The problem with excess carbohydrates, particularly fast digesting ones, is that once the insulin spike they create comes crashing down, our bodies crave more carbs. This can lead to weight gain. Let me give you another example. A 100-calorie cupcake is calorically dense because our bodies digest it quickly, raising our blood sugar and spiking our insulin. On the other hand, a 100-calorie serving of strawberries contains less sugar and more fiber. This means it takes longer for the body to digest, therefore making it a nutrient-dense food. Both examples are 100 calories, yet they have different effects on our metabolism. So it's easy to see how 100 calories worth of cupcake and 100 calories worth of strawberries are not the same thing. Next up is another dangerous one that kind of goes hand in hand with skipping meals. This one states that you need to starve yourself in order to lose weight. Not a good thing. Keep in mind, folks, a calorie is nothing more than a unit of measurement used in determining how much energy is in the foods that we eat. So to simplify things, think of calories like gasoline for your car. If you don't put any gas in the tank, you probably won't reach your destination. Your body being just like your car, if you don't give it the fuel it needs to operate, it will slow down and eventually come to a stop. Therefore, starving yourself to lose weight is a bad idea. Your body needs a specific amount of energy just to maintain homeostasis, the self-regulating process responsible for maintaining stability and adjusting conditions so they are optimal for human survival. If you don't eat enough, this process can suffer, and as a result, so can other important functions within the body. The other thing to remember is that if you aren't eating enough, your body will essentially feed on itself to maintain energy. The most readily available source, once any stored glucose is used, is protein. This means that your body will cannibalize your muscle tissue for protein so it can be broken down for use as fuel. So eat, people. I'm telling you, you need to eat. Starving yourself will cause you to lose weight, but you're going to lose that muscle mass, and that's what you don't want to do. Next up is another myth about skipping a meal. In this case, it's breakfast. Are you starting to sense a theme? It seems to be a big deal with these myths that they want to get you to skip all these meals. It's just not right. Folks, the first thing you need to keep in mind when dealing with breakfast is that you've been fasting all night. So as previously stated, your body needs to find energy from somewhere. Even though our metabolism only slows down an average of 15% while we're sleeping, we are still using energy. That means that if your last meal was 2 to 4 hours before you went to bed, and then you slept for what is currently the national average of 7 hours, it has been 9 to 11 hours since you've taken in any fuel. As we already know, fueling the body is very important, so the longer you go before eating, the more the body must use its own means to find fuel. There are some people that simply can't eat within the first couple hours of waking, and that's okay. For my clients who are like this, I suggest adding MCT oil and a scoop of high-quality protein isolate to their coffee. Blending these additions into your morning cup of joe can provide the body with some much-needed nutrients without being heavy on the stomach. So, just like the other meals, you don't want to skip breakfast either. Find a way to get a little something into your system so your body stops the catabolic process and gets you on with the rest of your day. Here's another good one that's more than likely designed just to take your money, and that is that you have to be on some sort of diet in order to lose weight. Okay, folks, have you ever put a Band-Aid on a cut or a burn? Of course you have. We all have. The next day when you took the Band-Aid off, was that wound or burn gone? Of course it wasn't. This is because it takes time for your body to heal the wound. The same philosophy holds true for dieting. Most diets do very little, if anything, to educate a person on how to make better lifestyle choices when it comes to food. So long as we're following the diet to the letter, we may see weight loss. But what happens when we reach our goal weight and stop following the meal plans and macronutrient ratios? Most people eventually put all the weight right back on, and in some cases, pick up additional weight in the process. This is because diets are like pills that treat a symptom but do nothing to cure the disease. So long as you take the pill, you will feel okay. But the disease is still there, waiting for you to stop taking that pill. So rather than wasting your money on special diet foods or pills, invest your money in working with a professional nutritionist or dietitian, someone who will teach you how to consistently make healthy food choices by helping you to create sustainable lifestyle change. After all, weight loss is 80% nutrition. So again, stop wasting your money on the next big thing, the next fast weight loss pill that comes out, and invest in yourself and learn how to make better food choices. I can see how this myth could have been perpetuated. For years, we were told to avoid fat at all costs, that it led to heart disease, weight gain, and a host of other issues. However, as I said, nothing could be further from the truth. We need fat in our diet. There are certain vitamins that are fat soluble, such as vitamins A, D, E, and vitamin K. This means that we need healthy fats in our diet to assist with the absorption of these vitamins. Fat and cholesterol are also needed by the body to produce hormones, such as estrogen and testosterone. The key to fat consumption is to focus on the healthy fats. Some saturated fat in the diet is needed. This helps to increase HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and it also changes the small particle LDL, or bad cholesterol, into large particle LDL, which does not contribute to heart disease in any way. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats are both very good for the body. These fats are typically oils, and they assist in lowering the bad cholesterol, the LDL levels, as well as providing many nutrients including vitamin E, which is an antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation. They also contain alpha-linolenic acid, which is an omega-3 fatty acid. You can find these fats in most plant-based oils and in foods such as flaxseed, walnuts, and tofu. So as you can see, folks, you need fat in your diet. Don't eat a ton of it, just like anything else. Everything in moderation, but make sure you get your healthy fats because your body needs them. Now this one is a tricky one. This myth states that you need to avoid carbs in order to lose weight. While there are some people that suffer from metabolic conditions and they do need to watch their carbohydrate intake, for the general public, you don't have to avoid carbs in order to lose weight. There's a reason why this myth is so easily spread. With the emergence of the ketogenic, Atkins, and paleo diets, for example, carbohydrates are catching a bad rap. The reason for this is the effect that they have on the anabolic hormone, insulin. Eating simple carbohydrates causes a flood of glucose into the body because they're very easily digested, as we've already stated. When this happens, our pancreas releases a proportionate amount of insulin into the bloodstream to signal our cells to take in the glucose. Because the uptake of simple carbs happens so quickly, our insulin levels drop back down as quickly as they rose. This causes the body to crave more simple carbs to get that spike back. By eating more complex carbohydrates, it takes much longer to digest them, which allows for a more even supply of glucose into the bloodstream, and in turn reduces the size of the insulin spike. Where carbs get their bad rap from is when people consume too many of them. Once our cells reach their storage limit and there's no need for the excess glucose to be used as energy, it's shuttled to the liver where it's converted to fat for storage. So I'm sure you can see how fat storage would be counterintuitive for your weight loss efforts. So given this information, it's easy to see how this myth can be perpetuated. The bottom line with carbohydrates is make sure you stick to the complex carbohydrates and don't eat so many simple ones, and you'll be okay. If you're finding value in this video, do me a favor and smash that thumb button for me. Now the final myth we're going to crack today is the one that states that you have to avoid gluten in order to lose weight. The only people that need to avoid gluten are those that are either intolerant to it or have some sort of metabolic disorder like celiac disease. Gluten-free products are everywhere these days. There are some people who have an intolerance to gluten that causes them gastrointestinal issues. As with most foods, there are some people that are allergic to it. There are also those that suffer from celiac disease, and they need to avoid gluten so they don't damage their small intestines. But just what is gluten? Gluten is a protein found in grains such as rye, barley, wheat, semolina, and more. Studies have shown that those who are only intolerant can consume products containing gluten provided that they're minimally processed. Grains such as spelt, oats, and kamut fall into this category and are what is known as ancient grains. These can easily be substituted in many recipes. There is, however, no reason to avoid these grains when losing weight if you don't have an intolerance or some other issue. As with any other macronutrient, you simply have to be mindful to eat it in moderation. I know that the whole wheat belly book and all that stuff came out and so many people got wrapped up in all that, but you really don't have to bother with avoiding gluten so long as you don't have one of the issues that we discussed. Now, this is just the first video in a 4-part series that I'm going to be producing about different myths, not only surrounding weight loss, but also fitness as well. So I hope you got some kind of value out of this video. If you did, please make sure you subscribe, as well as to tick the bell so you get notified when that next video comes out. If you found yourself following any of these myths, leave me a comment below and tell me which one I helped you out with. I'll see you in the next video.